Hello, and you're very welcome to the Women's Rugby Pod. We are here at Ashton Gate ahead of England against Wales. Podwife is back. Burf, lovely hug earlier on. Lovely to be back in your presence. How are you?
I know, it's nice to be doing this in person, not through Zoom, isn't it? And we've got ourselves a bit of a top-notch studio right now.
Haven't we just? The backdrop is a beautiful sun-kissed Ashton Gate, as I say, ahead of the England-Wales game. If that wasn't good enough, Burf, we've got another World Cup winner here as well. World Cup winning captain, Katy Daly-McLean, NBA. Katy, how are you?
I'm grand, thank you. Lovely to see you both.
How are you? How's being mother, sort of second phase, as it were?
I've escaped for the evening. No, it's great. It's obviously slightly more tiring. When they say 2 is double the trouble, it really is. But no, we're good. We're surviving and everybody's still alive.
Absolutely.
Bonus.
And you guys are doing a bit of O2 stuff online tonight around the game. But look, we haven't got you for very much time, so let's get straight into it, Burf. The biggest question, I suspect, if anyone follows you on social media, is what on earth are you building now?
Very good question. I am building out the front of the house. We've got piling going on and then cement pouring. We might have lost a few listeners by now, Johnnie, but yeah, basically the front we're having a concrete slab put in.
For what purpose?
So we can step into our house. At the moment, we've got a 2-foot step to get into the house.
And there goes the last listener. If you are still with us, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on.
DIY fans out there that tune in just for these
Kevin
updates,
Chapp
Johnnie.
from Channel 4 still on, the grand design fella. But everyone else has gone. Look, let's get into some rugby. Ladies, let's look back before we just jump forward. Katy, what did you make of the performance down at Sandy Park?
I think that game for me was kind of everything you would expect for a first game. Like having chatted to somebody like Alex Matthews, some of those girls haven't played any rugby since April, and I think we probably saw that in heaps, to be honest. I think their defence was outstanding. The intensity of what they showed, how much they got off the line and pressured America. But for me, we probably want to see a bit more accuracy in their attack this evening.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the way that they defended was another level that I haven't seen England play, and just the relentlessness of it was really, really impressive. But I think in attack, we kind of didn't really see England go through too many phases, build some pressure, and often or not, it was lack of the opposition's errors that then allowed England's opportunities. So for tonight, we'd love to see that kind of synergy in attack be as alive as it is in defence.
Katy, something I asked Sunta last week's pod, and I want to get your take on it as we've got you. How important with those last 2 or 3, the person against the player, the combination of that? You guys had a ball in Marcosi outside of squatters and camper vans and all the rest of your training field. But you look like you're enjoying each other's company. Just how important is that for mids?
It's going to be huge, and especially when you look at how long the girls are away for. Like, we were away for 3 weeks, so the fact that they're going to be double the time, listening to some of the venues as well, there's going to be a little bit more remote, so they're not just going to be in the town and kind of being able to access everything. So I think that will massively come into play. You know, good people are sometimes more valuable than good players. And I think these last 2 spaces will be an opportunity. And he would have been watching the dynamic of the girls. He would have been watching how people interact. So, yes, we're talking about performances this evening, and rugby is very important. But also the build-up to this point will have been crucial just to see how people get on and how they kind of enhance the vibe, because that will be huge later stages of that tournament.
Yeah.
It will indeed. World Cup squads, while we've still got you. New Zealand announced France, Australia, Canada. Let's go to New Zealand first. Just a couple of days ago. What stuck out for you, especially in your position, Burf, with the leading question?
Yeah, obviously we've seen the Chasey Stelman's not going to be in the team.
Josie Ali, as we used to know.
Yes, used to be, and obviously she's been on the pod with us. But I think she took that massive knock, got really bad concussion, and that was probably her opportunity to put herself forward. And I think knowing that the girls in the sevens team also came back fit and well, it gives another extra opportunity for somebody in the centre field as well. So she's potentially missed out from that perspective.
These 2 ladies, ladies and gentlemen, are so important. They've just been hand-delivered coffee and tea on a silver salver. Unbelievable. Extraordinary. Do carry on, Rachel Burf.
Yeah, so I think, Fitzpatrick played really well when she came on the pitch as well. And I just think she's she's had a bit of bad luck. She hasn't had enough opportunity. She then got that really nasty concussion, which then's probably ruled her out for those later stages of training, which, you know, often it can come down to those training, those last couple of weeks, whether you're going to be in or out. So obviously that's a big one. And Les Elder's probably another one that everybody may be expected to be going, or potentially not, because she hasn't been involved in the squad since the tour to England. So maybe that was already always going to be on the cards. Still, you know, somebody who's been right in the thick of all those really difficult times with their squad, to not be going is really hard. So there'll be elation from a lot of those players, but you know, we've been there where we've not been picked for certain games, and it's tough to get through. So yeah, it's a challenging time.
Count on one hand the amount of games you two have been picked for. Katy, Sarah Hirini, you spoke a moment ago about people, the importance of people. Sarah Hirini, just like a magnet of a person. Stacey Flula, the silent assassin, great energy. Portia Woodman, been there and done it. What do those 3 sevens players add to this 15 squad?
Yeah, and we just touched on it, didn't we? Obviously, phenomenal rugby players. I think the first thing to be interested is how quickly they can transition back to 15s. They haven't got a lot of rugby to play. It's literally going to come out of a 57th World Cup and straight into 15. So for me, I think that's it's an interesting call. But like you say, it's that people factor, isn't it? It's that magnet. They've got that winning mentality. They've done especially Hirini and Portia have done everything on the stage. So a home World Cup will come with a lot of pressure, having played in one. And I think probably you just want some people in there that have got a cool head, that can deal with it. They know how to manage themselves and will be able to manage others around them.
As ever, an excellent point. Move to Australia, the other side of the Tasman. Shannon Parry, captain. Talking about totem poles, magnetic people. Shani Williams, from just picking up. She's done the full set now.
Yeah,
Hasn't she? The lot, World Cups, Olympics, World Series, all the rest of it, Commonwealth Games. Fabulous player. What would she bring to that Australian side?
I think, you know, the points that Katy touched on, she brings all of that experience, that calmness, and I think she is somebody who could literally just slot back in. It's not going to take her a couple of weeks to get into. She'll know exactly what her role is, but just there's certain players, when they're in your team, it's a bit like an Emily Scarratt. When they're in the team, they give them a huge boost, and that's what she'll bring and that's what she'll add. And I think all of her rugby attributes, but also her leadership, that aura that she has around her. And, you know, we know that this Australia team needs something like that, because they haven't had a great run of games. They have been struggling. And you know, hopefully she can be a little bit of a lift and an inspiration to everybody around her. Yeah,
because they don't go into the competition of great form, having lost the last 6 with the new coach. France, going from sort of fairly settled and know what's going on. France, bonkers and bizarre. No Boujard, no Bane, no Fulani, no Diallo. Joanne Grisez comes in from playing 7s. Have not played 15s for the last 2 years. Typically France for you, Katy?
It's everything you would hope for them and more, isn't it? Let's be honest, especially since they're in our group. I think for me, the biggest one, like Boujard and Binet not being in it, they've been like stalwarts of that French backline for as long as I can remember. So yeah, I'd love to be in their camp. You'd love just to spend a day with France just to see how they approach it. But I think they're huge calls, really, really big. Fellaini just probably maybe not as much. Probably Fal's come in and really made that position our own, hasn't she, in Six Nations. But the 2 backs, yeah, fascinating.
It's absolutely fascinating. Canada, no real massive surprises in that Canadian squad for me. Have you had a chance just to cast your eye over that, Rachel Burford?
I think it's a pretty settled squad, isn't it? From the one that's toured.
And physical.
Well, I mean, a lot of them are playing in the Allianz Premier 15 consistently, so that's really helped them. But like you say, consistent, strong, powerful. You know, they put in a really good performance against Wales, so they'll be riding off of that as well. But there's not any surprises in there that you think, oh, so-and-so's not been left out, or that's a new name that we've not seen before.
We say about certain teams, Canada, I think we could probably put the mortgage on they're not going to win the Cup. But they may well have a huge influence on who does. Would you go along with that, Katy?
Yeah, and I think Canada have the potential to be like a bogey side for some teams. We definitely found that in 2014. They've got a very good pack, and like Burf said there, a lot of them have been playing AP 15s for the season, which I think just raises them. You know, Laura Russell has been around for a long time. I think for me, they've got probably the most experience switched on. and that physicality is what they bring. I think they probably sometimes their back line has potentially been the thing that you would be a bit more questionable about, but Alex Tessier has been around for a long time, a very solid operator, so it wouldn't surprise me if we're talking about Canada in the later stages of this tournament again.
You agree, Burf?
Yeah, I think Katie's spot on there, and I think that so often, and we've always said they're so athletic, they're so strong, they're so powerful, but now they've got that backing of that rugby knowledge, and they can bring that, and they can test teams and pressure teams, and sometimes they don't always get the points, but the amount of pressure that they do put onto the other team, if they can convert some of their own pressures into points, then they will be a team that will be challenging at this Rugby World Cup.
Ladies, thank you so much for your thoughts. Enjoy the game. Thank you, Katie, for joining us.
I'm Kira Bevan, and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
Final whistle at Ashton Gate, and it is history. 25 tests in a row that England have won. No team has ever done that in the history of rugby union. 11 tries in the end, 73-7 for a very dominant England side. Helena Rowland with a hat-trick, Emily Scarratt with 2, Marnie Packer, penalty try in there, Ellie Kildunn, Amy Cockayne, Hannah Bottoman and Zoe Albroff. Scarratt with 5 conversions and Rowland with 1. Wales are just a single score. Gwen Crabb, Elle Snowsill converted that. Pitchside post-match with the Budwife. 2 picked through the bones of that game. Reasonably impressive. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, Bert? Because England are at a different level to most of the teams they're playing at the moment. That's a record. Nobody's ever won 25 international test matches in a row ever before. And England were very, very dominant. But let's judge England by England's standards rather than the scoreboard, which of course read 73-7 in the end. Your assessment of England?
I think it was a much improved performance in terms of continuity, which was something that we said about in terms of their attack. I thought we saw some incredible line breaks. You could just see players running great lines off. Think about, 3 or 4 tries where someone's busted through the middle, straight on the shoulder, you've got 2 or 3 players around you. So I think those kind of things, it seemed a much improved side. I think defensively, they weren't really tested, but were still suffocated Wales. It didn't matter what the scoreboard was, England never let up about that. As soon as one player went in, there was 2 or 3 more bodies around it, competing at the ruck, making it a real nightmare for them. And, that related to I know they got 7 points early on in that game, Wales did, but the rest of the game, they did not look like they were going to be scoring. So that element, set piece, was dominant. Was really dominant. We saw variation off the line out, which I thought was good.
Yep.
Seeing Emily Scarratt go over twice, which was brilliant to break away from the back of the maul. I think there was a lot of really, really good stuff out there. A really challenging game as well. I think we should highlight that, how this is a game that players are going to be playing for a couple of those final spots.
Yes.
Pressure, worrying about injury. There's a plane to get on next week. And it's high pressure. And it was in front of over 11,000 people on a Wednesday night. So lots of pressure. They handled it really well. But what I was really, really impressed with was actually their turnover attack. So, their transition, which is, I know, something that they've been really hot on in training, making sure that any opportunity they get, they take it. And we saw that a couple of times off the line out, line break through the middle, then resulted into a try, or multiple phases, then into a try. That's the type of thing that we needed to see from England tonight, because when they go into the World Cup, and I know we're talking about a couple of teams, but particularly of France, when they're going to have to play phase on phase on phase to break it down, that's where they need to be tested. And I think that they did that well tonight.
And breathe.
Sorry.
And that's an hour and a
I'm
half
excited.
pod done with one question. I'm with you. Variance, I really like the variance today, as you say. Use Scarratt on those hard lines. You saw that 2014. Use her. Go to the corner. Use Lydia Thompson through the middle. You then go to the corner with the line out. And this guy comes on a short line because they all think you're going to do the driving line out. That's really what I like about this team, is the self-awareness. So Wales got under their skin in the Six Nations, properly under their skin, rattled them 5-10 minutes. They tried it again tonight. No, none of it.
Yep.
And they tried to have a little go at Abby Ward. I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm sure there's 6.5 dozen the other. But it was done and dusted and nipped in the bud. And they're constantly learning. And individuals then. Let's throw some bouquets out there. Helena Rowland's an obvious one.
Yeah, I thought she was outstanding. picked the right moments at the right time. She used her footwork to get around defenders. She's so elusive that then she's such a threat that 2 players have to mark her. And then she either opens it up for somebody else, which when she put Ellie Kildunn in, or she's slicing through the middle of them. And 2 of her tries came from double touches. You know, she tipped the ball, then flooded through, then back on the back of it. And she's got the pace and acceleration to get through. I thought she was outstanding. I thought it was really great to get a solid 70 minutes from her. I thought she did really well when she went into 10 as well. So seeing that versatility that we know that she can do. I thought she was outstanding. Defensively, probably wasn't really tested, but in terms of attack, was absolutely on fire.
Here, post-match with Helena Rowland. Helena, how was that for you? I'm guessing you enjoyed that somewhat.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say I enjoyed that. I think unbelievable crowd, unbelievable atmosphere, and what a performance. I think as a squad we really turned up from the USA game, and from a personal point of view that was a little bit of a better performance than I turned around in that game, so yeah.
So what did the team get right tonight, Helena?
I think we spoke a lot around simple things done well, just make sure we're on the front foot, playing in their half, and go from there. Like the pitch will open up, we'll get to score, we'll get back ball, but simple things first.
And you personally, how pleased are you with your game?
Yeah, very pleased. I think it's not very often that I score 1 try, let alone 3. So that's always a really special moment. I enjoyed every minute out there. Obviously, back playing 12 again, which I haven't done for a few matches. So always a little bit rusty to start off with, but really enjoyed that game.
Did you feel you needed to put a marker down? Did everybody feel like they needed to put a marker down there tonight? That's the last showing before selection, of course.
Yeah, I think so. I think these games were kind of the last chance for us to put down or show the coaches what we can do. And I think this one was the last one for everyone. And I think everyone had that bit of edge about them that, we need to go out and show the coaches why we should be on that plane. And I think you got that reaction from the players today. It can sometimes go one of 2 ways if it gets too much and you go a bit cagey, but I think you saw from the squad effort, like everyone was on form, and really enjoyable game to play.
You're awesome, congratulations, enjoy the flight to New Zealand. Lydia Thompson, I'm going to throw in there. I thought, she hasn't played for a while, very, very physical. The handoffs, the power and her pace, she is an absolute world-class finisher, isn't she? And Ellie Kildunn in that back 3 as well. But up front, the front row will be very pleased. From the first scrum, which is right in front of us here in the 22.
Now
Ashton
we've lost
Gate.
Listeners. Talking scrums.
No, we haven't. We're talking scrums with you, podwife. But from that first scrum, you've given the impression to the referee, haven't you? That you're dominant, and you're very dominant, and therefore 50-50s are going to go the way of England.
Yeah, I think, when you reflect back on the Six Nations, that's where they troubled England. They got them in the set piece, got them in the scrum, but, a whole front row change from USA. Every player wants to make their mark. Every player wants to be in this team, and then once you're in that team, you want to start in this team. And that first scrum set the scene, absolutely drove them off. But then, 20 minutes later or 30 minutes later, when Lark has to go off, Amy Cocaine comes on, they drive them over, get a penalty try. It's the strength that they have in that pack is ridiculous. And this Welsh side, highly technical around the scrum area. They've got a solid pack with good weight behind it. That's no easy thing that they did. I don't know anything about scrums, but it definitely wasn't an easy thing they did. So I think from that point of view, and you spoke about the variation in the line out, we know that they can just drive and go over. So from those areas, hugely pleasing. And just to touch on Lydia as well, that any time she touches the ball, whether she's got space or not, she makes ground, and she takes like 3 people to bring her down. And it's remarkable the strength and the power that girl has. You do not want to tackle her. And here's somebody else that we do not like tackling either. Emily
Speaking of
Scarratt.
strength and power, Emily Scarratt has joined us on the WRP as we're just wrapping up the performance. Emily Scarratt, you're out there tonight, obviously. Your marks out of 10 and your initial thoughts?
I'd give us a 7.5. I don't know. It's the first time I had to think about that. I thought, there's some really good bits. really good bits, always stuff to work on. Obviously, for some girls, it was their first hit out as well. We kind of forget that. Obviously, a few of us played last week. Some girls hadn't had their hit out yet, so there's a bit in that. But yeah, I thought it was pleasing.
We were just talking about the variation and how much more variation there was tonight. Whether it's going to the corner, but actually then using that as a decoy, hitting you on a flat line, that kind of stuff. Is that spoken about, or you're just saying, right, let's just open the box up a little bit? We know we've got it in there, but let's just open it up tonight.
Yeah, I think there's obviously you always have quite a few tools in the box, and I think we're definitely probably guilty sometimes of if it's not broke, don't fix it and just keep doing the same thing. And obviously our driving maul for so many years has been such a strength. But at the same time, we'll come into games whereby we're not perhaps getting the same joy from that, so we need to have other things to go to. And yeah, I thought we mixed it up quite well tonight. As I say, the driving maul is such a strength, and no doubt that will continue to be so. But you never know what else you might need, and you've got to have practiced it. There's no point doing it on a training field. Games are different, so you've got to have practiced it.
You say give you a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, but there was things to work on. What are those things you need to work on? Because it's a scary prospect.
Yeah, I think there's some breakdown bits. Wales are always, really good at kind of slowing that breakdown down and making sure that the ball is a bit sticky. So there's stuff that we can control in that as well. It's not just always on them. I think there's a couple of bits, on some exit stuff and playing in the right areas and just perhaps get into that a bit quicker. If that's where we want to go with it, get into that a bit quicker, and then potentially a little bit of just being a bit braver. There's some opportunities where their defence was quite narrow. So actually, can we as backs be a bit braver, whether it's that kind of kick pass, whether it's taking the one with a bit more edge space. But yeah, and it's probably feeds back into that variety piece as well.
One more question from me for a silly one. Was individuals. Helena Rowland's got all the plaudits and what have you tonight, and probably rightly so. How much fun was it playing outside her?
Yeah, she's class, isn't she? I think a game like that is made for her. Lots of space, lots of time on ball, lots of opportunities for her to kick out and accelerate, with that insane acceleration that she has. And just sitting in the middle of the field, being able to pick her head up, perhaps pick on somebody a little bit slower opposite her and then just taking off. So, yeah, she's class, it's fun. Outside
of Oliver Packer singing his own national anthem, bless him, how difficult was it for you doing I found it really difficult to say king, not queen. Did you find it difficult?
Yeah, it is different, isn't it? I think it's an adjustment. I think, we've all been so proud, obviously Burf for a long time singing our national anthem, which has always involved the Queen. And obviously this last week or so has been tough. I think it's brought up a lot of things for many people. But yeah, it's definitely different. But nonetheless, it's still a very, very proud moment being able to sing it.
Thank you very much, Emily Scarratt. Go and have a warm shower and a slice of orange or whatever you do.
Cup of tea. There we go.
Cup of tea and a protein shake. Scaz, thank you very much indeed for joining us on the WRP.
I'm Sarah Hiddenate and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
Emily Scarratt there. Obviously talking about a few bits to work on. Let's flip it over. Wales, rate their performance.
I think, sometimes the score, and we have said this before, it doesn't always reflect the effort that's put in or even how tough sometimes the games can be. For me, though, they looked quite disorganised at times, especially when they would come under a lot of pressure in their own 22. We did see them exit better.
Yep.
Defensively, they were pretty organised in defence, double tackles, but it just got too narrow. And because they're having to send, we just talked about Lydia, it takes 3 of them to take down. Now suddenly you've only got 12 left on your feet, 2 in the backfield. So now suddenly you've got 10 players in front. Somebody like Helena Rowland just picking people off for fun. Yeah. That makes it really challenging. Then you're consistently on the back foot. And I feel like in attack, it was last passes, it was too flat or on the shoulder. All these milliseconds of things that have such an impact, and a team as dominant as England, especially defensively when they are hunting and they are hungry and they want to suffocate, you've got to get those things right, and it just felt quite flat.
They were physical, we know that. They're passion, of course, 100%, niggly, all those, all compliments, absolutely. But considering they've just been away to Canada for a week and had a test match against another physical Canadian side, I wanted to see more. I wanted to see a little bit more development from them. And Jazz Joyce, I don't think she got the ball in her hand until about the 65th, 70th minute. Lydia Thompson's got her hands on the ball 4 or 5 times in the first half. Get your key players in the game playing. You know, the short lines that Emily Scarratt ran tonight. Get your key players on the ball. And very easy to say from the stands, of course. But, yeah, I expected a little bit more from Wales.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we just alluded around the pack from England and the front row, and what that front five, in fact, did for England was every time they carried, they made ground. And you flip that on the other side, and that's why Jazz is getting no ball, because they're not getting enough front foot ball, which then stresses the defence who are on the back foot, and then that's when you put it into the danger people's hands. It's just a shame because, you know, you would have thought it would have been a bit closer. And obviously England have kicked on. You know, we're talking about Six Nations. What was that, April?
Yep. So
they've had that massive pre-season. They've already had one warm-up game, which was, you know, elements of it was successful. So we would have expected England to kick on, but we also probably would have expected Wales to see more from Wales.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive headaches ahead for Lewis Deacon, Scott Beeman and Simon Middleton. Young Cunningham and Richard Whiffin, those guys as well. Have you done your 32 for England?
Do you know what? I've not done a 32. I've just ruled a couple out. I've done it the other way around. That's quicker.
Then.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
No, you put yourself down a path there, haven't you?
Not rule people out. I think. Oh, something's not working. Mike's not working.
She's up a cul-de-sac, ladies and gents. Come on, who have you opted out?
No, look, I think there's always going to be challenge around, you know, there's obviously one prop that's going to get left at home.
Yep.
Potentially one of the nines that are going to get left at home. Thought Lucy played really, really well tonight. Claudia also came on, played really well, and she's got the other string in her bone of playing back three whilst carrying an Abby Dow. You're going to need an extra bit of cover there.
Well, she'll go.
Who?
Abby Dow.
Oh, no, I know Abby Dow would go, but then what's your contingency if she doesn't get ready? So does he go, well, actually, I know Claudia can play well at 9, and I know that she obviously played really well against USA. Yep. So it's, I think there's going to be not many surprises. I think when you're in that environment, you know where you're about. You know whether you're in favour and you're going to be one of the players on the team sheet, or you know if you're just on the cusp. And days like today matter about how you perform, which can be really challenging when you already know, but you don't know. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make perfect sense. We could talk for hours about it, couldn't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, Monday is selection day. Tuesday for Wales, I believe.
I just think that the thing for England is those 3-4 players that are getting left at home, they're world-class players.
World-class.
Like, they're top-class players that would get into any other team, and that probably makes it even harder. I think if you're, you know, a young player coming in, or you've got 1 or 2 caps and you haven't been in the thick of it all, but when you're as, you know, you could name all of those players could go and be successful and contribute and get into the team. So that's the challenge thing. Hello, you coming in? Oh, lovely jubbly.
We very much need you,
We've
Sarah
had your
Byrne.
dad, so...
Look at this.
Oh, that sounds
your
wrong.
dad's been in. He's been singing songs.
We can edit that. I hope so.
Sarah Byrne has been hurdling the seats here
She's
at
been
Ashton Gate.
hopping between every single broadcast here. You were oh, look at you. I know. ITV, and then with us, Women's Rugby Pod.
Leaving the best to last.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, Sarah. Really, really appreciate it. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was lovely. It's brilliant playing at Ashton Gate, so I absolutely love that. Yeah, it was good fun. It was nice to be with the girls. It was just nice to play some rugby when pre-season's been like so long, so it was brilliant to just get on the pitch and play some rugby. Looks
like you properly meant that, and it may sound like a strange statement, but you had to really have the bit between your teeth tonight in terms of set piece, in terms of your physicality around the field. That come from a sort of team sort of chatting about Wales and the Six Nations, or they got under your skin a little bit, they're very, very physical, or is it, you know, this is your last chance to show what you can do before New Zealand, hopefully?
I think it's probably a bit of both. Well, we're known in Six Nations, Wales really came out at us in that first half, and we were expecting that today, so it's something that we've really worked on. That's something Wales really bring to try and that kind of aggression, snappy fight to mess up our plays. So it's something we expected, and also that's the other side of it as well. Selections coming up, everyone wants to put their hat in the ring and be selected for that World Cup. So I think that's another part. Everyone wants to do well, and also as a team, we just want to be better than we were last time. So that's probably something that we have been working on as a team, that we want to keep pushing forward and we want to keep bringing and making sure it's better and better each time we get out.
Now we're going to send Burf off to sleep here. We're going to just talk scrums
not allowed.
for a moment.
I've already heard this from her.
Just going to talk scrums just for a moment.
I could tell you she's going to put it on a highlight reel. There you go.
How delighted were you with that first scrum? Because it sets the tone, doesn't it, with the ref and everyone else?
Yeah, I'm so proud of the girls and how far we have come with our scrums. It's something we've really worked on over the last 4 years, and to come out today and put what we are doing on the training pitch on a game under pressure in an international environment is really difficult, especially when you don't know what they're going to bring or how they're going to present. And Wales do have a really good scrum in Six Nations. They dominated a lot of sides, so to see that and get that penalty try, I think that's... Someone asked me the other day, actually, what's better, score in a 50-metre or a penalty scrum try? And I was like, penalty scrum try. Because it's a team effort. It's such hard work. And I don't think people realise, how hard it is. So to get that, there's no other feeling.
So that tops the Italy try?
Yeah, any try. Penalty scrum tries, just at the top.
You lot
at the top.
Just different gravy.
I just don't really... I think I still have that bit, I'm a back row still learning. So when it goes right, it's that really massive sense of achievement that you get, and yeah, absolutely love it.
Brilliant. Biggest smile on your face talking about scrums. I absolutely love it. And mine too. Look, Monday, it's a big old day. What are you going to be doing Sunday? How are you going to be spending Sunday? You're going to try and chill out. How are you going to prepare yourself for what is a very big announcement?
How are you finding out? What's your method?
How are you finding out?
If I'm not in, a call. If I am in, just a WhatsApp message. So just a heads up before.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's going to be so hard. There's such good competition out there. I don't think anyone could pick a squad right now. So, really, fingers crossed for everyone, really. But what am I going to be doing at the weekend? I'm probably going to chill out. I'm going to really try and see my family and friends, and there's a few gatherings happening, so I'm going to go say hi to all of them and
switch off. Yeah,
switch off, and then just see friends and get ready to focus on those 2-3 days of training that we have prior, and then get all my beauty done, get my eyelashes lifted, eyebrows done. That's why I look a bit rogue right now. Get my roots done.
That's all right. We've got no film crew here. You're fine.
I thought either way, I'm going to enjoy getting my hair done. So
yeah, exactly. Be pampered.
Yeah.
If not, yeah.
Brilliant. So Sarah Bird's weekend is karaoke with Dad, and then down the beauticians. Awesome.
He's coming too.
Sarah Bird, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Scrums, talking scrums, literally talking scrums, Burf. How brilliant was that?
I'm leaving.
Yeah, okay. We could talk for hours and hours and hours. We won't. Let's get back on the pod next week. We'll see you next week.
Yes, we will. Love you, bye. Bye.